Today we're talking about the insane new cars unveiled at Monterey Car Week and some spicy rumblings from Toyota and Ford. A new crate engine that some say could be the next 2JZ.
What?
But first, this big old cluster fart over at NASCAR. Welcome to the Big Three. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this episode. Head on over to factormeals.com/big350 and use code big350 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code big350 at factormeals.com/big350 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Ooh, speaking of spicy rumblings, man, those hors d'oeuvres at Car Week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They gave me some of those.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got gout now.
Hello and welcome back to the Big Three, everybody. My name is Nolan Sykes, joined as always by Joe Weber
So,
and Max Maddox.
Hello, fellow car enthusiasts.
So, if you've never listened to the show before, welcome in. If you heard last week's episode with James May, welcome back. Thanks for listening. And if you're a regular listener, thank you 3 times. So over here at the Big Three, we do 3 big stories a week from the automotive world and a few smaller ones too. So be sure to subscribe for a brand new episode every week, guys.
I didn't know it was called that. I thought because there were 3 big guys.
No, it's because we have 3 big stories.
yeah, that's
That's right.
often misunderstood because sometimes we have 4 people and then everyone flips out.
So we got back from Car Week.
Yeah.
We were there for, well, most of us were there for less than 24 hours. Went up to Monterey. We headed out in the afternoon on Wednesday afternoon.
It was a speed run.
Got in at like 11 p.m. We had an Airbnb in Salinas. It was actually quite nice. And then
John Steinbeck fans will recognize that town
that's
name.
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Henry
Nice pull.
Row.
That's in Monterey. And then we drove over to Monterey. We got a quick
This guy's
interview.
from the Central Coast, by the
Yeah.
way. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah.
Pascadero local.
That's right. So I felt it was very fun to show you guys around the 101.
No one was pointing out every single place on the 101. He's like, yeah, that was my rival high school. They were really good at football
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
That's
You
where
see-
James Dean died, and also I lost my virginity there.
As you do on the Central Coast. So that was really fun. We got in on Thursday morning. We went to a very, I don't know if we want to reveal
No,
yet.
we tease
Okay,
it
okay.
because it's going to be a segment next week.
Yeah.
But we got exclusive interview with Horacio Pagani of Pagani Hypercars.
Yes.
It was a huge deal. We had to jump on it.
It was crazy, dude. That
And it was
so
the first kind of experience that we had done on the show. So
Yeah.
but
And
it's going to come out next week because we need to hire an Italian translator. And Pagani's camp is like, we need to look at the transcript to see if it's perfectly right because they're all about precision.
Yeah. I mean, they unveiled the Utopia Roadster.
Yeah.
Very cool car. I don't think I've ever seen a Pagani in person.
Mm.
And
Did you go on that shoot for car?
oh wait,
Boys,
yeah, we had
a
the
new car show.
Huayra BC
The
at the
Huayra,
office.
yeah.
That's right. Okay, so I have. I'm lying. So that was the second time I've seen a Pagani, and I just don't even know how. It's like more exaggerated and just more in your face than you can ever believe. Even
Yeah.
though it's very, I would say, classy looking automobile.
It's
Mhm.
big and small.
It's
at
got
the
a lot of
same time.
a lot of presence. I know. I would.
The wheels are
Great way
like
of putting it.
got to be 22s or something.
It is in the back. Yeah, the rear wheels they're 22-inch wheels.
Damn.
I think they're on 365s in the rear.
They sent us a correction about the tire sizes,
They
which I
did.
thought was the most Italian thing ever.
Correzione.
It was a correction about a previous press release they'd sent us about the Utopia. It says, "Dear, I hereby communicate to you the updated technical information about the tires. See here the updated information below. And they're Pirelli P0 Corsa 265/35 R21s in the front and 325/30 R22s in the rear."
325. Okay,
So
not
they wanted-
365. 325s in the rear. Yeah, very cool. That was a really awesome experience getting to talk to Horacio. And next week, you guys will hear that and see that.
We really grilled him.
Yeah.
We grilled his
We put
ass
a-
good.
His ass to the
It was a
grinder.
good conversation. It was cool. Not only just about the car itself, but also my favorite part was near the end when he was just talking about, he gave some advice to some of you youngsters out there about work ethic and all that, which I always love getting from our guests.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Stop eating avocado toast.
Yeah.
Work hard. Show up. That's why you can't buy a house.
Yes. We came back on Thursday evening, right?
Yeah.
We drove back. That was a lot of fun.
Went to work on Friday.
It was
so many good bits.
Max, Joe, I, and Audrey in our little Integra that we drove back. It was very fun. But then you went back up.
Yeah.
On Saturday?
Yeah. Christina and I went back up because Bentley had a party, and I thought it would be fun to go to a Bentley party. So we drove up again, and we took her Subaru, which we just modified on the channel without her knowing, and chugged all the way up the coast.
Did it make it?
It made it, yeah.
Okay, good,
It's
good.
pretty slow. What we've done is added a ton of weight onto that car. If you
Yeah.
haven't watched this video, basically Christina's car broke down, and we upgraded it without her knowledge or consent. Luckily, it ended up working out quite well.
It's
and she
the
likes
only
it.
car she's ever owned, and I remember her as like a 16-year-old driving this car around to punk shows.
Because you guys, Christina's like one of your sister's like best friends, right?
Yeah,
So,
she's my little
Little
sister's best friend.
fun fact.
Now
Some lore,
she's-
some Joe Weber lore.
Yeah.
Web lore.
Web lore. Anyway, sorry. So you guys took the Subaru up.
Yeah, and so because of the big ass wheels and tires, the gas mileage is not great. But anyway, we made it up there, and then we went to this Bentley party. And the mistake we made was thinking that there were going to be a bunch of like snacks and food there because we had
Well,
gone.
it seems like a given to have
Yeah.
food at a Bentley party.
Correct, but
Isn't the Bentley the one that has the Grey Poupon ad?
that's Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And that's
So-
Grey Poupon with the Rolls Royce in there.
that is true. That is not a Rolls Royce advertisement. But yeah, anyway, so they just had like cheese boards, and I had a ton of cheese, and then a couple of martinis,
Oh man.
and then there were
Punish that toilet.
yeah, some spicy rumblings nonetheless. But it was fun. And yeah, so then we went to the Bentley party. I saw Matt Farah smoking a cigar at a fire pit later in the
Nice.
evening, and then we went back home the next day.
Cool.
It was
So
fun.
that was
Oh,
like
yeah.
20 hours of driving in 3 days
Yes.
to go eat a bunch of cheese.
But you know, I do like cars and I like driving, so it wasn't a chore for
Yeah.
me at all.
That was the hashtag at the Motorlux event. It said "Save Driving." I was like, "We're doing our part." We drove, 10 hours to get here.
Yep. But I believe driving is safe for now, for
Did
me
you-
at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think driving is in a good place.
Yeah. The
you
thing
get-
with Car Week that I didn't realize though is that like you do need to plan it way in
Oh,
advance.
for sure.
I've never been before. I don't think any of us from Donut have been, which is interesting because like, we are California based. It's completely not our scene. But like supercar stuff isn't really our thing, but
Right.
being up
Yeah.
there, unreal. It's
Yeah.
not because it's not just supercars. It's dudes in like E30s and
Yeah.
like weird JDM cars driving around
Well, like
everywhere.
Some Renault, some French cars.
Unreal.
We saw a Scarbo,
Scarbo,
which is like this not coach
Tubular-
built, but hand built, like tube frame, basically like a Ultra 4, not Ultra 4, maybe like a trophy truck underneath, but on top it has what looks like a Land Rover Defender kind of body on
Yeah,
it.
like the old
boxy.
one, like the two-door Defender.
So I remember watching like one of their videos where they revealed it, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I was like, wait a minute, is that the car? And then I'm pretty sure it was the guy who owns the company driving it. And I was like, are you a Scarbo? And,
Oh, you said a Scarbo?
Looks out a Scrambo.
No, and I was getting footage. I brought my camera with me to try to get like footage of the Pagani
Yeah.
deal, which hopefully turned out good, but also pictures. And I had my camera like out the window,
Yeah.
like,
We're stuck with him in traffic
Yeah.
side by side.
and then I got home and like looked at my footage, and it looked like
Bad.
it looked like
You also didn't get the best
Shit.
part was the,
Cloverfield.
yeah.
the best part was when he like waited
Oh,
for
yeah.
a gap and then like gunned it, and then it's like a supercharged V8 or something
It's
like
like
that.
1,500
It's crazy,
horsepower.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this thing roars, and Nolan had just pressed stop on his camera.
Hey, I recorded it up here. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
I
it
still
up
can
here.
hear it in my-
Yeah, it was sick. Okay.
We saw some cool cars. We're gonna get to like the bigger reveals at the end of this episode, but for now, let's talk about this thing that happened in NASCAR.
If you haven't heard, Richmond was a pretty gnarly race. It all started 2 weeks ago, where a late caution forced a one-lap restart at the finish. NASCAR loves this shit. It seems like every race now has a one-lap restart to the finish. It's the only way they can make it. They don't trust the audience enough to hold their attention the entire race. Everything's got to be a Super Bowl Hail Mary moment.
And when that happens, that groups the cars closer together.
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. So the entire field is now on the same lap, bunched together, and that top 10, they're pretty much all have a chance of winning when something like this happens.
So
Because
there's basically no point to the whole race.
pretty much that's what I'm. Yeah, this has been an ongoing thing. We talked about this on like Donut Racing Show back in the day. Like this is like every other race. It seems like has some huge finish like this, and it's just NASCAR trying to milk it. So we'll get to what happened. Okay, so you had Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin. They're all fighting for the lead near the end of the race.
This is how I
Do we
win
want
in
to watch
Forza.
some video of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you guys know exactly what happened here.
They took a page out of my playbook.
Okay, so
Forza
Austin
for this.
Dillon is in the Bass Pro car,
Oh man,
spins Joey out right here.
that's blatant.
Denny's coming down the bottom. Then he spins him out as well into the wall. And that's a super dangerous thing that he did to Denny, actually, because
Yeah.
it like put him face first into the wall there.
Look at these
His team's
guys.
going crazy.
Wow, we almost just killed 2 guys.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate.
And it was super nasty. Pretty like it's so obvious. And again, you NASCAR fans listening, this is kind of older news now, but you know,
Yeah.
it's still fun to talk about. Anyway, so after the race, Logano did a burnout in front of Dillon's pit box where his crew and family members were celebrating. He was yelled at by race officials. Yeah, so it was this whole deal, huge controversy in NASCAR land all last week with lots of moving pieces. And in the end, NASCAR decided that a line had been crossed regarding to Austin Dillon spinning Joey Logano.
yeah,
So
that was blatant.
yeah, they decided that Dillon gets to keep the win, but the win would not count towards playoff eligibility. He was also docked 25 points.
Whoa.
So now he's all the way down in 31st in the
Oof.
standings.
Damn.
Dillon's spotter, the guy telling him to wreck Logano, was suspended for 3 races. And, you know, for his part, Joey Logano is fined $50,000 for doing the burnout from the pit box.
That's dumb as hell, dude. The tire company better cover that.
Joey's reaction after the race is pretty good. He gave a really good racing interview, basically calling Austin Dillon a huge hypocrite and everything like that for all the stuff he was saying after the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, that was probably one of the most blatant things I've seen in NASCAR in a long time.
Especially if they have the audio of the guy going, wreck him,
Yeah.
wreck him.
All right, so Stellantis recently revealed pricing for their 2.
Well, you know, Hurricrate kind of sounds like haircut. Is this
Well,
something you can do there?
let me get to that.
All right.
Stellantis recently revealed pricing for their 2 new Hurricrate engines.
Yeah. Oh, because that sounds like haircut. That's a transition.
Which, if you haven't guessed, is their crate versions of the company's Hurricane engines. These are both inline 6 twin turbo mills, as us car week guys would call them now.
Yeah, we would call them that, huh?
Mills, yeah.
Six pot mills.
6-pot mills. The pricing is over $10,000 for the 420 horsepower standard output Category 1
Nice.
crate engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nearly $14,000 for the 550 horsepower high output Category 3.
And it's like Cat 3 because it's like a
A hurricane.
Yeah, like a Cat 3 Hurricane.
and like a Hellcat.
And you know these are gonna like rip up Florida when they come out too. So that's the other.
Yeah, they're
connection
gonna
to
put these in
hurricanes.
airboats.
Definitely. They might. That's an option.
Scareboat.
Scareboats. So yeah, I mean, $10,000, $14,000. I would say pretty standard pricing for like for a brand new crate engine like that, brand new engine.
How much is a 2J?
I don't know. That depends. I don't know if you can get crate 2Js.
Yeah, you can't get a good one
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
Can't even get one.
But you can probably get a refurbished one. Like I think Job got a deal on his, but I think
He's
he
got
paid
RB.
like. Oh, he does have an
Mhm.
RB.
Mhm.
I thought he also had a 2J.
No, we had the 2J for the E36.
I think you can get a refurbished 2J for like 3,000.
Maybe. But also, like, you're not just going to get a refurbished stock one. You're going to go to some shop that's going to get it all upgraded with rods.
With all the bells and whistles.
and valves
Stems.
and stems.
Yeah.
And seeds and sticks and stems. and
Head.
that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot more expensive than $3,000.
Anyway, 10,000 for a 400, 500 horsepower inline 6. That's cool.
Yeah.
What would you put that in?
The Imperial.
You'd put a 6-cylinder in there?
Mhm.
Cool.
Dude, twin turbo. That thing has like 180 horsepower stock on that Hemi
Oh,
right
man.
now.
I
So,
don't know, I just thought you were a elephant guy.
well, those are really expensive. I don't know.
Those are like 30,000, huh?
yeah, they're pretty
How
gnarly.
much in LS is 10?
I mean, it depends. Like
LSX?
LSX,
That's like
15.
20.
the one we have in the Ranger was a lot.
I think it was like 15 or 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't
So
know.
this is a relative deal to that.
I would say so. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how much stuff costs. It's
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we're just,
That's
we're just all throwing random
You're
numbers
like
around.
Bill Gates
well, I
trying
don't
to
look at
guess how
crate
much
engines
milk
all the time
costs.
because I just kind of assume that I'm not in a position to buy one.
Yeah.
Right, because you just bought that truck.
I bought the truck.
I'm just saying, like,
It was
if
Hemi
you were,
swapped from the factory. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you were building a drift car or something, and you
Uh-huh.
had the choice between an LS and this engine, this is a deal.
Yeah, but I'd probably go with the LS just because it's like proven kind of
Yeah.
deal.
That is the thing, is like, these engines are out already, right?
They are in trucks now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And people are already talking about their reliability not being great.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's wrong with them?
Stellantis built, I don't know. So it's maybe not as reliable as an LS. That's the only thing I am comparing it to right now, because I'm just talking about drift builds. But
I like that there's a crate inline 6 though. I mean, I'm a little bit of an inline 6 guy myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool engine. It's a platform you don't really see too often in modern cars.
I mean, I've been saying this I feel like we've already, anytime the Hurricane comes up, I say this very line right here, but I am looking forward to seeing what people can do with a tune like a E85 in there, especially in that Cat 2.
Yeah.
You know, easily 650, 700 horsepower, I think. Just
Cool.
with tune. Gotta be.
Did you guys watch Twisters?
I did see Twisters.
What'd you think? Speaking of Dodges, also.
I thought it was pretty damn good, actually. I liked
Yeah.
it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was dumb, but I had a good time.
Yeah, we really have different opinions on this film.
I thought it was cool that truck had that drill
Yeah,
that it would just
Oh,
lock
yeah.
itself in the ground.
that was awesome.
And then they just like shoot little fireworks up into
Yeah, that
the
was cool.
tornadoes. I saw a big what do you call a dirt devil on the way up.
Really?
Dust up. You know what I'm
Dust
talking
devil.
We
about?
saw like
Yeah.
6 of those.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was like
Twins.
we tried to drive into the eye, but it disappeared before we got there.
Yeah.
Christina and I were in the rig, and we were like driving right towards it. It was fucking
get
awesome.
sucked up.
Yeah.
Someone shared a photo of, I think Twister had such an impact on my generation that like once people got money, they all bought like tornado chasing trucks. Because there's a picture of like a big tornado and like all the crews chasing it. There's like 200 trucks all camped out, like getting footage or whatever.
So wait, that's a real thing that people do.
Yeah.
Storm
a lot of
chase?
people do that.
Well, I knew about storm chasing because there's that guy on Discovery Channel who had that tank that he built, basically. I thought it was only like one guy doing that shit. That's like a whole thing. That's a scene.
Oh my god,
It's a
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
It's huge now.
Absolutely. There's like amateur storm chasers. The storm chasing footage from this most recent tornado season, unreal,
Yeah.
by the way. Wild.
Dude, throw a DJI drone up in there, see what
Yeah.
Yeah,
happens.
dude. Sponsored
Get-
by Mavic.
Yeah,
dude.
get Glenn Powell to retweet you. I don't like Glenn Powell. I'm sorry.
Why not?
Dude, you do a really good Glenn Powell impression though.
It's like tiny mouth smile.
That was amazing. You looked exactly like him. That was awesome. If you're listening to this, please, after you're done, you have to go on YouTube and find Joe doing the Glenn Powell.
I think we might actually just make it the cover art for this podcast. So all you have to do is just look at the art.
What I didn't like, it should be okay.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about Twisters was that at first Glenn Powell we'll get back to cars in a second, folks.
No,
I didn't like that Glenn Powell kind of starts out, his arc is that he's like kind of like a scoundrel. He has like,
He's a live streamer.
he's a live streamer
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
oh, this guy's like a cowboy, like renegade. And then he turns into like the lead of the film basically. And
Yeah.
he's like more,
You see that he has heart.
yeah. I was just like, make him a douche the whole time. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's what he wants to do, Glenn Powell.
What we found out was that streamers actually aren't that bad after all.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, chat, clip this Twister right now.
Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this episode. Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Factor has been a longtime sponsor of Donut. I've had many a Factor meal, and all of them were very good, very enjoyable, super easy to make, and quite affordable as well. So with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. So head to factormeals.com/big350 and use code big350 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off for your next month. That's a great deal. That's code big350 at factormeals.com/big350 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Thank you so much, Factor Meals. Before we get into our big final story of the week, we want to talk about some spicy rumors.
Yeah, spicy rumblings. We all ate lamb vindaloo.
What is that?
Spicy Indian curry with
Ooh.
lamb in it, but
Sounds pretty good.
it always gives me spicy rumblings.
Yeah. So let's start with Ford here. Ford held a private dealer event last week. This is pretty normal. Manufacturers will have big conferences with their dealers and show them upcoming products. Every manufacturer does this.
And then all the dealers are just like scribbling their markup down in their notebooks. Like, oh, this is going to be 100,000 extra.
Oh, yeah. So several attendees, anonymous attendees of this event, have told outlets like Automotive News and The Drive that Ford showcased some renderings of several new Mustangs, including a sedan called the Mach-4,
Okay.
an off-road version,
What?
an EcoBoost Mustang powered by RTR. That's pretty cool. And a V8 convertible with a manual transmission.
That sounds like something they already offer.
I didn't know that that's, I guess not.
I'll be damned.
Look, I think a lot of people, when they heard this weekend, or this was over the weekend,
Yeah.
when people heard this, they kind of lost their shit a little bit,
Yeah.
especially the sedan thing. I think it kind of makes sense, though,
Oh,
just
absolutely.
in terms of Ford's strategy right now. Look, they killed all their cars except the Mustang like a couple years ago.
Then they realized that people like cars, and they came out with a statement that says, "Oh, we realize people like cars."
Well, yeah, because they had a new president, and I think, if they're gonna bring back a sedan, you might as well put your best foot forward brand wise.
Yeah.
And say, hey, it's a Mustang sedan.
They already did that with a crossover EV.
Yeah. So you've really already kind of hit, like, I would say, like the bottom threshold of what people are willing to tolerate.
Yeah.
At least the enthusiasts. So now the sedan might seem like it, to me at least, as I guess the reluctant Mustang guy of the office here.
Mhm.
It's former Mustang. Yeah, I did sell my car. That'll be a video in a couple weeks.
But you do have a low car now, so you're back in the Stang gang.
That's right. Anyway,
Can't
so
stay out for long.
I think it makes sense. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, the Charger was a coupe
I was gonna say
back in the day.
That's true.
I think they're targeting Charger guys
Interesting.
that now have kids,
Interesting.
because I think a V8 manual
Yeah.
sedan is sick, and it's something you can justify to your partner. Be like, it's got room for groceries and a car seat.
Dude, Ford, I want to see a manual in this thing.
Yeah.
That's how you win over the nerds.
The
like
car
me.
community.
Yeah, the car community. That's
Did
great.
you just coin that?
Yeah.
The car
That's
community. That's
sick,
pretty
dude.
good.
Just came off the top of my dome, actually.
Let's start
Yeah.
a blog called The Car Community. We'll be good. Okay, so that's pretty cool. But an off-road version, we buried the lead there a little bit.
Okay.
An off-road version of
Yeah.
the Mustang.
We're talking like a little Lambo Storado action here. A
I
little
think we're
Porsche
talking
Dakar,
Dakar.
maybe.
We're
Yeah.
talking Storado
Whoa.
for a third of the price, probably.
Okay.
Like in between the Storado and a Crosstrek. That's the market.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Big hole in the
It's a big
market.
hole.
I saw online, this might have been in like a Reddit thread or something concerning this news, is that Fox, I think, is connected to do the suspension on
Okay.
this.
Cool.
Because I believe they already do the suspension with the Raptor as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a Fox suspension Ford Mustang
Yeah.
meant for off-roading, going camping or something out in the desert.
That's cool.
I'm into that.
I think off-road sports cars are an untapped frontier still. Like
Definitely.
I could get into that.
Yeah. I love it. I can't wait to drive that.
I saw a Dakar at a car week the other day.
Oh God.
This thing, and I was like, of all the cars I've seen this weekend, that's probably the one I would daily drive till I die.
It's ridiculously dailyable. James and
So
I went up
cool.
to Montreal.
Mm.
They do say Montreal, huh? With like a U.
Yeah, Montreal.
Montreal.
We were in Quebec at this. We got to drive the Dakar in the snow. It was super sick.
Yeah.
If I was a dentist who lived in a metro area that snowed like
Yeah.
every year, I would drive this.
But going back
Perfect.
to Ford, I think
No, not going back to Ford. I'm going to talk about Canada. Go
all
ahead.
those cars that you described have super short wheelbases. If it's something that resembles the Crown Vic at all, like imagine off-roading in a Crown Vic. I'm sure people do that, and people are going to send angry
Gambler
emails.
people, yeah. Those
You're going to
gambler
get
guys
some
love
weird
Yeah.
emails.
But
because
like a
people definitely do
20-foot
that.
long Ford
It's not 20. What are you talking about?
Crown Vic,
I know,
that's a
but
long car.
a Mustang's not 20 feet long.
That's true. Okay. I take back
Well, as
everything.
soon as you start making it a sedan with a V8 convertible
Yeah.
and it's off-road,
And then
then-
Shaq wants a version, and you have to
A
lengthen.
really tall roof on that.
Oh, you make it this way? You don't make it
yeah.
longer?
Yeah, because he's tall.
Well, he has a Murcielago.
it's his legs are long, not that his torso's too big.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think.
then who was I talking to last night?
All right, but it's not just Ford who has a new car coming out. There's also rumblings that might be a new MR2 coming. Toyota's working on a mid-engine all-wheel drive car that might revive the MR2 badge. They also say Toyota is targeting a 400 horsepower from a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, which is
That's crazy.
awesome. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll also deny your warranty.
That's the thing is Toyota they've historically been super reliable, but the new turboed Toyotas,
The GR Corolla,
Which makes
is having some
300
issues.
horsepower from
Yeah.
a 3-cylinder.
yeah,
Curious.
Oh, so they put just a extra cylinder on there.
yeah,
That's what they do.
Yeah.
and it's it's starting on fire, and it's the oil's starting on fire, and it's leaking a little bit, and then Toyota says, "Oh, you drove it over 85. We don't want to cover you."
That's what really pisses me off. It's like you market these cars as sports cars.
Yeah,
The ads have them sliding around, doing all sorts of cool stuff for racers, for the real community members out there.
nice.
And then turn around and say, "Hey, you were going too fast. You were doing the legal speed limit in Texas, and we won't do your oil
Yeah.
change now." Bullshit. Come on, Toyota. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Oh, that's a big 3. What? Come on, man. Moment.
All right.
That was
Hell yeah.
seamless.
That was great.
Well, that's cool. MR2.
Yeah.
We like.
We like.
Some people think it might be based on the FTSE concept, which is the little.
The feet C concept.
Oh,
Feet
yeah.
seat. Oh yeah, dude, that looks sick.
So it's
Oh.
compact.
I take back everything I said. I love this car. It's nice. That's a cool
That
concept.
thing's gonna be cool if it comes
400
out like
horsepower.
that. It does look like a natural evolution of the MR2.
Like a little Lotus.
Yeah.
Or like a little baby like Corvette C8. Like a
It's
4-cylinder.
little
400,
baby
you know what I mean?
Corvette. It's literally a little baby Corvette. So what do you
There's-
think? What do you think, Nolan?
I think it's cool. I drive
super
that for
convincing.
There you have it, folks.
I drive
Nolan
that for
Sykes,
$1.
stamp of
Unfortunately,
approval.
yeah. No, it looks sick. I mean, I'm gonna wait until there's some more concrete kind of evidence to like really get my hopes up on this
Yeah.
sort of thing.
It's it's gonna be like $48,000 too.
Well,
So-
actually, Best Car over in Japan says it'll cost around $70,000
What?
and only be sold in Japan.
okay, so never
Oh.
mind.
So we're gonna have to wait 25 years, everybody.
Start saving. Hey, I mean, if you saved a couple bucks a month for 25 years,
Yeah, I mean, just stop getting expensive coffee everywhere and stop eating avocado toast, and maybe you'll be able to afford it one day.
yeah.
Take out a second mortgage if you owned a house, but we don't.
Well, you own a house.
I don't know a house.
He owns a baby.
Do you own a baby? That's not really
Yeah,
a thing.
legally I own that baby.
All right,
Should we talk about Car Week more, guys?
let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's talk about
Give the
Car
people
Week
what they
more.
want.
Yes.
I just want to say we've been talking about Car Week because it's such a new experience for us, but honestly, it felt like we kind of snuck in.
I felt so underdressed.
We were underdressed. I went and spent $85 on a suit at H&M, which is the only thing I could afford.
I didn't have any nice clothes because I'm
Yeah.
moving right now, and so Joe went to H&M and he got me a a dress shirt that I found out still had the little magnetic
yeah.
security thing on it, so he
Yeah.
might have stolen it.
But we felt out of place. The people at Car Week are different than people that you run into in society. They live in a completely different world. I went to like classic car and private jet show on Wednesday night, which was insane. Tickets, we didn't pay for it, but tickets were like $750. There were 2 different free oyster bars.
Let's talk about those oysters.
Yeah, Max couldn't make it because they left a little late, but he was like, sneak me some of them oysters. So me and Audrey were walking back to our car. We walked past McLaren Senna parked on a fairway of a like the parking lot was the fairway, and someone had just run up this hill in a Senna, and we're walking past this with oysters that we stole.
We got a doggy bag of oysters.
Yeah. Like
a food that notoriously travels well.
Yeah.
We were spilling oil.
I was honestly really worried about Max after he ate those because I was like, he's gonna die. He's gonna have some
it was
spicy
about a
rumblings,
35-minute it was like a 35-minute trek back to Salinas, which is the only place we could afford to. And they were oysters Rockefeller, so we were spilling like chimichurri on ourselves the whole time. I also don't know what oysters Rockefeller is, so.
Well, I know that you were definitely sloshing them around because they were quite dry by the time they made it to me.
Yeah, we felt pretty briny after transporting those. But anyways, we had a great time. The Motorlux event was super sick. We saw a bunch, like, it was a very eclectic mix of cars. There was like old Resto Mod Lancias. There was, like a BMW M1. There was the Itala Design Aztec with the 2 pods, which was
cool.
insane. 2 steering wheels. There was helicopters. There was private jets. There was a Mustang P51, which was super sick.
Nice.
I told Nolan that, and he was like, "Oh, FML."
Yeah, I said FML, LMAO.
But man, and then there was like obviously the auction happening at that time too.
Oh, there's an auction.
Yeah, there's.
What you bid on?
I bid $17 million on a 1962 Ferrari GTO.
Nice.
And I was outbid at the last second. It was
got
a
sniped.
huge bummer.
Yeah.
But that was only one part of it. The next day, we went to Pagani's camp.
Yes, which you guys will hear about next week. More.
Yeah. But also, there's so much stuff that we didn't get to experience this week.
Car Week is really like a trade show for like the luxury market.
Yeah.
You have all these different
market.
It's and exactly the resale market. There's a lot of car shows going on too, but like it really is for like networking and across the entire like Monterey area. There's all these events at all these different houses or like venues rented out by these OEMs, and you just kind of
I think some of them own them. I think Maserati owns a house.
It was a house that was built for Car Week.
for events. Yeah.
For that event.
Yeah.
And we ate like probably
Oh my
$100 worth of truffle shavings.
There was this guy that they had at the party, at the Maserati party, that was doing these like copper wire profiles
of your face.
And I saw him. He was like bending copper wire. He's
really
wearing
cool.
a cape or something, and
Really
he was doing this
steampunk.
like woman's portrait with copper wire. And I came up to him. I'm like, hey, are you doing those copper wire things? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, could you do one for me? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So he starts going to town on this copper wire, and I'm like posing for him. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like sitting on the couch, just kind of like, kind of looking over at him, posing.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, he hands me this thing. It's not a portrait of me at all. It is the Maserati logo. He wasn't even looking at me the whole time.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But there
cool
were-
souvenir.
Yeah. We went to the Maserati house. There was a bunch of stuff we didn't see, like the roof rodeo, which is basically like the roof version of a Dakar 911. Comes with a 610 horsepower flat 6. So
good
sick.
Lord.
I'm a
Car-
roof guy, dude.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a roof guy.
You have a roof sweater. The rodeo comes. It comes with a carbon fiber body, and the whole car weighs less than 3,000 pounds, which
Wow.
is sick. 9.5-inch ride height and all-terrain wheels, kind of like a
Oh, what the hell?
Dakar.
Mhm.
Oh, what the heck?
Oh, what the heck is that? It's a little bit more expensive than the Dakar though at 1.25 million.
Oh wow.
That's a lot of dollars.
Yeah. Also debuted at Pebble Beach, the Acura Integra Type S HRC. It's got a ton of project car dream goodies like a front and side splitter,
Oh yeah.
cooling ducts, carbon fiber hood. It's got a big old wang. It's got tuned coilovers, a new exhaust, and bigger intercooler. So this is a hot little Integra.
It looks cool. I love the yellow.
It kind of reminds me of the what was it? The Lexus RCF, where they throw all the Hot Boy stuff on there because it's a higher end clientele, but you still want to have that you still came from a background where you had like carbon fiber hood and everything, but you're a working professional now.
Never forget your roots.
Okay. I can see that actually.
The
I could
lip
see
is
that.
cool.
If they make like 1,000 of these things, I could see it being like a bit of a collector for the Acura, the Honda community at large.
Nice, dude. Seamless.
I don't know. I just don't know though. The Type S is a very good car.
Oh yeah,
the Integra Type S.
I would take one of those over Civic Type R.
I wouldn't, but it's still very, very good. I like the Type R a lot.
Why wouldn't you?
I did not like the steering wheel and the shifter on it. It was like covered in like dimpled leather.
Oh,
and
I don't
feel
like the
that made
dimpled
it like
leather.
feel cheap for some reason to me.
Well, I'd put a wood grain Nardi and a pistol grip shifter in mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is good. And then the Bigfoot gas pedal.
Yeah. And a small foot clutch pedal. Would you guys rather have 100 tiny toes on each foot or one huge toe?
One huge toe. The tiny toes would freak me out, dude.
Really?
If I saw someone with 100 tiny toes on their foot, I would think I'm in like a David Lynch film or something.
Your balance
like that.
would be so messed up if you had one giant toe.
That's the price you pay.
Unless it was big and flat. You want that kind of thing?
Yeah. Oh, I'd probably swim so well.
With one toe?
A big flat toe?
Yeah, because all those fish that have one giant toe.
Yeah, it's called their fin on the back, their tail.
What I'd be concerned about is one, with the 100 tiny toes, that's a lot of maintenance for trimming all your toenails.
Oh, yeah.
But also, if you stubbed your foot, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be breaking all kinds of toes.
Got to move on. What's happening? Finally.
Let us know in the comments which you would rather have, one big toe or 100 tiny toes.
And if you're on the podcast and you don't have comments, email or DM Max at Max Maddox.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Oh, yeah. Porsche came out with basically OEM resto mod. This was a big announcement Friday morning. We had an invitation. We couldn't go, but it was pretty cool. It's actually polarizing. You don't like it. Did you say you didn't like it?
Correct.
What's
it's
that?
a 993 Speedster kind of thing. It's got little pods, almost like a Carrera GT on the back. It's bright yellow. It's got like black and yellow checkerboard trim stuff on it. I think it's pretty sick.
So it's a factory resto mod based on a 993, but it's been made into like a convertible Speedster, and it's got a 300 horsepower air-cooled flat six. Theoretically, it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more just about the aesthetic because 300 horsepower is not a huge bump.
I will say 993 is one of my favorite 911 chassis. I love that single, kind of like, not single tail light, but the tail light
single
design
toe on
the
back.
Yeah, it reminds me of like my fantasy of having a big single toe. It's really cool. Just really, it's just it's everything I
in
want.
my mouth every time you mention that.
As opposed to the 100 toes.
Dude, think about getting an ingrown toenail on a giant toe, man. You have to take off a week of work.
Going, ugh.
Gavin's puking in the corner right now.
Let's move on, please. Can we get a picture of this thing up? Let's take a look here real quick. Let me describe it.
And by the way, like a cool resto mod coming from a car company is neat. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
You just don't like Speedsters.
I just think it looks goofy.
Again, another
cool
great
too.
yellow's hot this year, dude.
Yeah.
Yellow is hot. I'm
Zoom in.
I'm not a Porsche expert, to be honest. Obviously, duh.
I think that's a cool car.
I wish the front was a little more aggressive looking. It's a little cutesy for me at the front.
It does. It's
The back
giving
is sick,
taxi
though.
a little bit with the checkerboard stuff.
Is this like a program that Porsche is going to spin up? Is this resto mod
This
deal?
is the first car from their new one-of-one Sonderwunsch program. That means salmon sandwich in German. It's like their OEM Restomod department, and it's just for like these one-of-one special cars.
That's cool though. I mean, if you could send your car to Porsche and have them build it.
I don't
how
think
you
it's like that.
Oh.
I think it's like show cars that are.
It's really interesting that like more and more OEMs, it seems like, are getting into this kind of space where that was normally kind of reserved for your singers or your Gunther Works or icons, like Restomod done really well, to have like factory support behind it and like to be under the full umbrella. I don't know, it feels strange in a way to me. I'm just thinking like what the motivation is, like financially.
I think it makes sense in the same way that Porsche did that e-fuel, where we went to Chile and we went down. It's like there's no way this is ever really going to be a viable fuel source, but it's kind of paving a way for their existing fan base that still wants to latch onto that existing like internal combustion thing, but it makes it a little more accessible for them.
Yeah.
Opens the door in a way that like a high-end clientele will spend a little bit more money.
Yeah.
It also is maybe a cheaper way of doing a concept car where it's like you find something that the fans really latch onto. And they're like, whoa, I really love this checkerboard seatbelt or whatever. And then it makes its way into production car at some point.
Okay, fair enough.
But they don't have to make a full, complete new chassis.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
We have a couple more cars that came out that are generating a lot of heat in the car space. What's it called?
Carmunity.
The Carmunity.
Some dingus leaked the Lamborghini Temerario. So this thing is the Huracan replacement. Got a 907 horsepower twin turbo V8 hybrid drivetrain. This thing's got 3 electric motors on it. This thing will rev to 10,000 RPM.
Wow.
It looks pretty good.
I like it. It's a little bit more. It's like if you took Huracan and put it through like a low res filter a little bit.
I mean, I'm not the target audience for Lamborghini. I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. It feels like they're toning down a little bit, honestly. This Temerario doesn't look super radical. The Huracan didn't really look that radical either, I guess, but this looks even more like it looks safe. At least the front end. The rear end is pretty cool.
This looks like the that Countach, that new Countach that they made a little bit. It's got really slim
slim headlights. Yes.
It's got Glenn Powell eyes.
It kind of has that like it kind of has that like Ferrari's doing that too with the really slim headlights. I think that's a design trend we're just seeing a lot more of in general.
Has very thin headlights.
Yeah, I mean, even Genesis and Kia are doing that.
Yeah, I like this.
Not really a fan.
It doesn't look as mean, which I like. I think the Huracan was like trying really hard to be an angry looking car.
Lamborghinis, at least the ones in the modern era, usable Italian performance,
usable heritage.
They look mean. They look outlandish.
Yeah,
all the way from the Murcielago. I've always loved that about them, and this Temerario just kind of, I don't know. It's just, I want something more. Maybe, if they come out with the special edition or whatever for this Terraria to.
Yeah, jury's out for me until I get to drive it personally.
I think they do have to make it a little bit toned down so that when they get to that point,
that's a
it's
good point.
not, like last generation Civic Type R looking.
And finally, here we got the Rimac Navara R. This thing is 2,107 horsepower, 0 to 60, guys, in 1.7 seconds.
Not fast enough.
Does a quarter mile in 8.23 seconds, 0 to 186 miles an hour in.
Oh my God.
8.66 seconds.
So it's
what is that benchmark?
Doing a quarter mile.
What is the benchmark 0 to 186
That's
miles per hour?
That's 0 to 300 kilometers per hour.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Croatian.
All right.
I want to drive it.
Yeah.
I don't care where the power comes from. As long as my eyeballs get pushed to the back of my skull.
Wow. God.
I like it. What?
That hurts. The thing that you just described hurt me.
I want to feel something.
I want those concave eyeballs by the end of that.
I already have astigmatism, so it's basically the same.
Yeah, you could say I'm the stick.
Oh, no, it would actually correct. Because you have like kind of conical, like egg-shaped eyes right now.
It's not front, it's side to side.
So
wait till you find out about the lateral G's that this thing pulls.
My eyeballs will be bending inwards, I guess.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Let us know if you want to get Mate Rimac on the pod. He's on number 1 on my list right now. He's a super cool dude. Started Rimac in his garage with his E30, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah, he had a
Cool.
sick E30. It was like burning everyone on the drag strip in like 2012, and he was like, "Yeah, I did all this in my garage." So
Cool.
well, I don't want to talk to
And
him
now
about
look
that.
at
I just
I
want to say
promise.
I had other oysters later the second time I went to Car Week, and they were the biggest oysters. I can't
Oh, God.
believe how big they were. It caught me off guard, and I've had a lot of oysters. It caught me off guard so much how large, because you're not expecting that to happen in your mouth when you eat
Yeah.
oysters. And they weren't bad. It was just surprising.
That's a great note to end on. Please.
Next week we're talking to Horacio Pagani at Car Week. Really cool interview. Make sure you hit subscribe or a follow on your podcast platform of choice so you don't miss that. Really cool conversation. Ever since seeing the Zonda on Top Gear back in like 2004, Pagani has. I've always, if I became fabulously, immensely wealthy, the Pagani would be the car of choice for me.
Yeah.
So really cool to get down to sit and talk with him. And actually, it was interesting because he only speaks Italian.
Yeah,
so
we had to
like
submit our questions beforehand, and then we went off script pretty quickly.
It was a really good time though. It was
but
fun.
his wonderful son Christopher was translating, and everyone was so nice to us.
It was super cool. Yeah. So
Really
thank you again, everybody at Car Week who said what's up. Thank you so much. It was a cool time.
Yeah.
Again, felt very undressed and was like, am I allowed to eat that? Or is that?
That is decorative sand.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, Nolan.
Yeah. Well, every week is Car Week on the Big Three. So hit that subscribe button once more. And big thank you to our crew. We got Gavin Kinzel, Audrey Holden, Mark Schroeder, and Edgar Grajeda back there. That was a lot of fun. Follow Max at Max Maddox. Let him know if you'd rather have 100 toes or one big toe. Hit up Joe at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. We'll see you next time.